Question 496. If n is a positive integer, then this limit could be expressed as which of the following definite integrals? If f is a continuous function, then the definite integral from a to b f of x dx is defined as limit as n approaches infinity sigma I is equal to 1 to n f of xi times delta x, right? This means that this expression right here, 1 over n times all of this expression, is equal to sigma of f of xi times delta x, right? So if we rewrite this sigma right here, then that's going to be equal to f of x1 plus f of x2 plus all the way to f of xn, and all of this times delta x. So we know that this expression is equal to this, and delta x must be equal to 1 over n, right? So let's write delta x is equal to 1 over n. This first function value, f of x1, that must be equal to 4 times 1 over n to the power over 3. What about f of x2? That's 4 times 2 over n to the power over 3, right? F of xn, that must be equal to 4 times 2n over n to the power of 3, right? Here, this is our input x. As x changes, this value right here, the expression in the parenthesis, changes, right? That means our function f of x must be equal to 4 times x to the power of 3. And since x1 is 1 over n, and our delta x is also 1 over n, our lower limit of this definite integral must be equal to 0, right? Let me draw this xy plane. Starting from 0, let's say this is x1, x2, all the way to xn right here. This is our delta x, right? Delta x, delta x. Delta x is 1 over n. And our first input, x1, is 1 over n, right? Here, 1 over n. Delta x, another delta x, then this is going to be 2 over n, right? 2 times 1 over n, 2 over n. All the way to 2n over n, which is equal to 2, right? So the lower limit must be equal to 0. The upper limit must be equal to 2, right? Our function is 4x cubed. So the answer must be A. Okay? Question 505. Evaluate each definite integral by interpreting in terms of area. We have definite integral from 0 to 5 square root of 25 minus x squared dx. If we have a square root, perfect square minus variable square, that expression is derived from the equation of the circle. Let this expression right here be function y, then y is equal to square root of 25 minus x squared. If we square each side, y squared is equal to 25 minus x squared. Then add x squared each side. Then that's going to be x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. 25 is 5 squared, right? That's the equation of the circle with the center 0, 0 and radius 5, right? This is our radius. Does that make sense? So let's draw this graph. X-axis, y-axis. Here, this is our equation of the circle. If we solve for y, then we're going to have plus or minus the square root of 25 minus x squared, right? Since we have a plus square root, we will have the graph above the x-axis, right? Here's 5, here's 5. Let's see, here's -5. So it is a semicircle with a radius 5, right? And the question is definite integral from 0 to 5, right? So we're looking for 0 to 5, this area, right? So that is equal to, this one is equal to, what's area of this shaded region? That's 1/4 of the circle with the radius 5, right? So that's going to be 1/4 times pi r squared. Pi r radius is 5. So that's going to be equal to 25 pi over 4, right? Question 506. We have definite integral from 4 to 10 absolute value x minus a dx, right? If we have absolute value, then know how to write the piecewise function for this absolute value. Okay, absolute value x minus 8 is equal to, here x minus 8 is greater than equal to 0 if x is greater than equal to 8, right? So if x is greater than equal to 8, that's positive. This expression is positive, right? So we'll have x minus 8 here. If x is less than 8, then this expression is negative, right? This expression is negative. But we must have positive because of the absolute value, right? So we must have a negative here. So negative times negative gives us a positive, right? So if we rewrite this expression, x minus 8 if x is greater than equal to 8, and negative x plus 8 if x is less than 8. Now let's graph this piecewise function. Here's the x-axis. Here is y-axis. Okay. If x is greater than equal to 8, it is x minus 8, right? So let's say here's 8. Then here's a 10. We'll have this linear function, right? If x is less than -8, we have a negative x plus 8, right? So if x is 8, it's 0. The slope is -1, right? So let's say here's a 4. So we will have this linear. So this definite integral is equal to the area under this curve, under this function, right? So this triangle and this triangle. Here's a 4. When x is 4, y is also 4, right? So the area of a first triangle is 1/2 times base times height, plus the area of a second triangle, here's a 2, and when x is 10, y is 2, right? So this value is also 2. So 1/2 times base times height. So that's going to be equal to 2 times 8, 8, plus 2, that's going to be 10, right? Question 507. The graph of f consists of line segments as shown right over here. The question is, what is the value of integral from 0 to 4 f of x dx? Remember, the definite integral is net area between function f of x and x-axis. If the function is above the x-axis, then that's going to be positive area. If function is below the x-axis, then that's going to be negative area, right? So let's try this. So this definite integral is equal to, here we have to find the area of this trapezoid, right? That's going to be equal to 1/2 times the sum of two bases. Here is 1, here's a 2. So 1 plus 2 times height. Height is equal to, right? 2 minus, we have to subtract this area to the 4. So up to this point right here. We're gonna separate this region like this. Then that's gonna be one triangle and one trapezoid, right? So subtract area of a triangle first. 1/2 times base times height. This is 2, right? So times 1 times 2 minus area of trapezoid. That's 1. This is 1, right? Since the coordinate is 4, -1. The base is 1. Here, second base is 2, right? So 1/2 times 1 plus 2 times height is equal to 1, right? 1. So that is equal to, cancel these two numbers, 3 minus 1 minus 1/2 times the 3, that's a 3 over 2, right? So 3 over 2. So that's going to be 2 minus 3 over 2. That's a 4 over 2 minus 3 over 2, right? So the answer has to be equal to 1/2, right? So this definite integral is equal to 1/2. Question 515. The values of continuous function f for selected values of x are given in the table above. What is the average value of f on this interval obtained by using left Riemann sum with the 4 equal subintervals? The average value of function f on the interval from a to b is 1 over b minus a integral from a to b f of x dx. That's the formula, right? So the average value of f on this interval is going to be 1 over 2 minus -2 integral f of x dx. And lower limit is -2, upper limit is 2, right? And we have to approximate this integral, definite integral, using left Riemann sum, right? So that is equal to 1 over 4 times left Riemann sum. Subinterval is equal to 1, right? 1, 1, 1, 1. We have 4 equal subintervals. So 1 times 0, 1 times 0 plus 1 times 3, 1 times 3, 1 times 2, 1 times 2, 1 times 5, 1 times 5. So 1 over 4, that's 0, 0 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5. So that's 1 over 4 times 10. That's going to be equal to 5 over 2, right? So average value of f on the interval from -2 to 2 is approximated as 5 over 2. Question 518. The values of continuous function f for selected values of x are given in the table above. If f is increasing over the closed interval from 0 to 6, which of the following could be the value of integral from 0 to 6 f of x dx? Remember, if f is increasing over the interval, let's say we have this increasing function, then left-hand Riemann sum will be underestimate, right? This is our left-hand Riemann sum, right? What about right-hand Riemann sum? It'll be overestimate, right? If we do right-hand Riemann sum, that's gonna be overestimate, right? So this definite integral must be between the left-hand Riemann sum and right-hand Riemann sum, right? Let's write the inequality right over here. We have definite integral from 0 to 6 f of x dx. That must be less than right-hand Riemann sum, but greater than left-hand Riemann sum, right? Let's find the left-hand Riemann sum first. I'm gonna write L. Okay, that's left-hand Riemann sum. Subinterval 0 to 2. 2 times 1. 2 times 1 plus 2 times 4. 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5, right? 2 times 5. So that is equal to 2 plus 8 plus 10. That's going to be 20. Let's find right-hand Riemann sum, R. That is equal to 2 times 1 on the right, 4, right? 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5. 2 times 5 plus 2 times 7. 2 times 7, right? So that's going to be 8, 10, 14. That's going to be equal to 32, right? So our definite integral must be between 20 and 32. So which of the following could be the value of this definite integral? Between 20 and 32? C is possible, right? So the answer must be C.